Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Paloma White. I am a soul-based coach in training, soon to be certified, and an emotional healer. I work with people on their emotions directly and explicitly. And these people that I work with may have struggles in different areas of their life. But what I like to do is to deal directly with the emotions that are being brought up by those situations, those relationships, that work situation, and to do some deep diving into the root causes of these struggles, which tend to be struggles that come up again and again. There seems to be a pattern there in that person's life. The person might describe themselves as having what I call an Achilles heel, an emotional Achilles heel. So it's that thing that they keep experiencing. It could be shame, embarrassment, a lack of confidence, anxiety, fear, feeling really stressed or overwhelmed. It might be in romantic relationships, things like feeling anxious attachment, feeling like they keep falling for the wrong person, or that they're misunderstood, that their needs aren't being met, that they can't find the right person that they're compatible with. The person might experience feeling fear, anger that comes up again and again for them. And in all of these situations, what I am curious about is what's really being felt. And I like to give the person an opportunity to just feel those emotions. Because normally what we do is we think about the situation and what needs to change or what we should do, what we should avoid. And then also automatic behaviors will set in that we don't always like, that we have. Things like blowing up or avoiding or procrastinating, running away, saying things we regret. So I like to allow a person to feel their emotions and then practice something called emotional validation. This is something that's not very common, unfortunately, in our culture, in our families, in our relationships. And it's the practice of validating somebody else's emotions. Normally, when someone's experiencing something and it's causing them to feel a certain way, we'll do anything but validate. And sometimes it's well-intentioned and sometimes it's not. But even if it's well-intentioned, it's not received as something that feels good, because that person then doesn't feel seen. They get the message that their emotional state is somehow wrong, or they're wrong for feeling that way, that they should feel a different way. And of course, everyone wants to feel better when they're not feeling well, and that's what I want for people as well. And it is absolutely possible. But what's not always known is that emotional validation is the first step that's necessary before we can even think about what needs to be done in order to feel better. So an example of emotional validation, just to make it more tangible, or in this case, the opposite, emotional devalidation, is when, and this happened to us as children all the time. For example, a child is feeling scared and doesn't want to go to school. And the parent, instead of validating that fear, will say something like, it's not such a big deal, you're making a big deal out of this, you're being too sensitive, you'll be fine, just don't worry about it, don't think about it. Often a way we indirectly devalidate is by trying to distract somebody, especially a child, when they're feeling upset. And if this is well-meaning, of course. But what happens is a child that's distracted over and over again from their negative emotions, for example, with food or television or some toy, they grow up, and that becomes their habitual response to their negative emotion. And so they also try to distract themselves. The problem is it doesn't go away. It just kind of it accumulates and causes all sorts of undesired behaviors, because that emotion is trying to find resolution, and it's coming out in these ways that we don't understand, but it's making itself felt nonetheless, despite our efforts to ignore it. And when we do finally allow ourselves to turn in the direction of that pain, open our arms to it with curiosity, with presence, just saying, I'm here with you now. I'm curious what you're about, what you're feeling. What happens is that emotion then, just through that focus that we gift it can release, and it will naturally unfold. So emotions they fall along a vibrational spectrum. And when an emotion is allowed to be released because it's been allowed to exist and it's being seen and acknowledged, it will naturally shift into higher emotions. We can't make a jump from a very low vibrational state, such as grief, to pure happiness, of course, but it is possible to slowly move up that spectrum. And this can happen actually in the space of a session. So either you're doing it with yourself, following something called the feelings process, or you're doing it with somebody else. For example, when I guide this process with other people in a healing session, it can happen that quickly, and it's meant to happen that quickly. That's how our emotional bodies are actually meant to be. They themselves have an innate healing mechanism, but they require that we allow ourselves to feel our emotions. And our emotions are totally super, super important to us living our best lives, our happy lives, because they are information, especially the negative ones, right? They're telling us what we do, what we don't like. They're showing us what we do want, depending on how we feel about something that's happened. So it's very important to have this attitude towards all of our emotions, including the negative ones, that is open and allowing, so that we can learn more and more which direction to take. So it's you can think of it as like an internal compass. And when you've managed to have that relationship with your negative emotions, then life feels much better. Not because negative emotions have disappeared, but there's this meta level. You're experiencing both the good and the bad in a way that feels good, and you're seeing that each experience is bringing you more information. It's bringing you closer to a life that feels really great to live, that feels exciting, that feels full of hope and fulfillment, getting to do things that you love and enjoy and be of service in a way that you enjoy. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm an empath, which means I'm really good at feeling people's emotions. This hasn't always been a good thing. Before, empaths such as myself, something I used to do would take on other people's emotions and, in other words, feel their pain or their anger, their frustration. But now that I've done a lot of inner work on myself, especially with my inner child, my little Paloma, as I call her, my life is radically changed. I've gained tons of confidence, a deep core of peace and love, that spiritual calm that comes with spiritual practice. And so this is a practice that I want to now offer other people. use this gift that I have for being really sensitive to emotions and understanding what our emotions want from us and need from us so that they can help us live our best lives. This is something I want to offer other people. So my work is great for people who feel like they're struggling with something. They want to really get to the root of it. They want to work directly with the emotions and see and especially feel the change that happens when they allow the work to be an emotional process and not just a mental one. Yeah. So if you're curious and would like to know more, then you can always contact me on my Facebook page. I'm really happy to have conversations with people, learn about what you're struggling with, what you would like to have happen in your life. How would you like your life to feel differently? And yeah, see what happens. Maybe we'll have some great work together. Thank you. Bye-bye.